What it is. Back up in this joint. Yeah. What's going on, everybody? I picked a very, very bad time to start live streaming because it's storming. It got quiet, actually. Huh. I'm sure some thunder will crack and knock me right off of here. So a lot's happened since the last time I was able to get on Facebook. They got into my Rumble account and deleted all the live stream backups. At first I thought it was like a Rumble thing, Rumble, the video platform. You know, I thought they were censoring me because Boomer Bongino, Dan Bongino, runs that piece of shit. And so I thought that might have something to do with it, but I don't think so now. I think somebody just got into my account and deleted all my videos instead of deleting the account itself, which is kind of strange, but stranger things have happened. So, whatever. Let's see. You guys are sending me some memes. These are what I filled in. The topics that maybe I'll get to, depending on if the electricity cuts out. Got some videos loaded up. I figured Facebook's pretty dead lately. I noticed, I was never a big user to begin with, but, I've tried to, get on there and interact with people on a regular basis by installing the Facebook Messenger app on a spare phone, so I could actually just, keep up with communication and check updates every now and then. And I noticed, man, it's dead lately. Nobody wants to be plugged in to the circus anymore. I don't blame them. I do not blame them at all. I'm kind of reminded of how stupid it is there was this one time where I signed out of my Facebook account and I didn't sign back in for over a year. It was a year and 1 month or something like that. And I always sign out of all social media for months at a time. I don't care about it. My community that I give all my time and attention to is built at my website. So that's where I put all my effort in. People appreciate me there. People know what I'm talking about. Usually when I come to social media, everybody's years and years behind. So every time I'm trying to talk to somebody, it just sounds like a bunch of gibberish. And then I got to wait for them to catch up. And by the time they do say something and they're on something else, oh, there's the rain. There's the rain. But yeah, so anyway, I'm reminded I signed off of Facebook for a year and a month or something like that. The day I signed back on, I posted an update. And this girl I'm not friends with anymore on there, who's a cunt, she says, I don't even remember what the post was, but she said to me, she was like, something along the lines of, God, Dan, you're always posting. You just need attention constantly. I'm like, I haven't been on here in a year and a half, and that's the first message I get, is that I'm starved for attention. Hello, remember me from last year? Yeah, I'm starved for attention. So it was just one of those, blatant reminders right in my face of just how much people have no idea what they're talking about. So that makes it very difficult to communicate when they have their head up their own ass so far, where is the point that you begin to explain? Don't know. It's very difficult. Man, that rain's coming down. So yeah, I got a couple things. Actually, let me play this. So I had a voicemail that I thought was interesting from one of my favorite people in the world. Let me play that real quick. Here it is.
Hi, Dan. Really into true crime and into 401 stuff. And I'm wondering what you think happened in the Dyatlov Pass incident. I know there's like a bunch of theories or whatnot, but I'm just curious as to what you think.
She said she's a big fan of Missing 411 and those kinds of stories, and what she's referring to is, I think there was Russians or Ukrainians. I do remember this story from way back. I'm talking like maybe 2002, something like that. But the story itself, it is very interesting. But the really interesting thing that came out of us looking into that story is coming to the realization that these UFO encounters leave behind physical evidence, which was like huge. Like, everybody was focused on how crazy the story was, but my takeaway was that there was physical evidence left behind, and then that type of like fact finding continued, throughout other types of incidences. So I'll sum up the incident. What happened was Ukrainians or Russians, it was a bunch of guys. They hiked up a mountain, snow all over the place. They were hiking up a mountain, and a storm came, so they hunkered down, set up a tent, and all went to sleep. If I remember correctly, in the middle of the night, they heard humming. I think it's called the Dyatlov Pass. Yeah, I don't know. You'll find it if you Google it. They heard a humming noise. They get up. They're like, what is that noise? They start like looking around the tent. There's all these lights and everything got hot. And so they don't really know for sure what happened. But obviously there was some kind of panic. There was some kind of like microwave energy happening. They found their dead bodies all over the snow, some of them with their clothes missing. They had burns all over them. Yeah, it was one of those things that like it's so crazy. Like, they freaked out and ran and they died, and it's like this story's crazy, but it left behind physical evidence that is unexplainable. And one of the things that I remember us going through that and trying to figure out what, like, what really could have happened, and how could a mistake like that happen where, let's say, a UFO's like probing and just trying to check things out. Like, why would they attack a bunch of guys in a tent? And one of the theories, this is back in like 2001, 2, 3, somewhere. One of the theories is that the UFOs, this is back then, could be like autonomous drone type sentries that just sort of wander around and have defenses attached to them, and they act on certain things automatically. So anyway, that's what that was about. Very cool. Just wanted to get that voicemail out. First voicemail that I've ever gotten to be able to play on the air. It says 0 viewers on Facebook, so I don't think it connected, guys. Again, this will be like the 5th time that I think it didn't connect to Facebook. Yeah, so that's fine. Don't care. I'll keep going. Yeah, somebody told me the other day that they did a whole live stream and it didn't show up until they finished the live stream, and then like it popped up on everybody's feed that a live stream was done and completed, and then it appeared for everybody. So who knows? Maybe that'll happen to me. I think that happened to me once. But let's see, where was I? So one of the craziest things, like what's going on right now, everybody's talking about the weather. The weather's freaking crazy. What's going on with it? I think they're controlling the weather. Nah, that's a conspiracy theory. Blah, 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 blah. Well, this conversation has been going on from the 60s. Since the 60s. Vietnam, they used weather modifications in Vietnam. It was called Operation Popeye. Okay? And one of the stupid things that I hear people say over and over is, wow, here goes another conspiracy theory that came true. No. It didn't come true. It was always true, and you were wrong. Why is that so difficult for people to admit? You were wrong. It's not a big deal unless you've spent most of your life laughing at it. Then I guess it is a big deal because you've based your whole perception of reality off of, like, ridiculing people because you thought you knew better, and now you know you don't know better, and so it sort of flipped you on your head. Bruised ego, I guess. So I guess it's better for people to say, wow, another conspiracy theory that came true. It came true. Not that I was wrong for 40 years. Yeah. So anyway, it was called Operation Popeye. They flew planes over and seeded the clouds with barium, I think it is, other nanoparticle metals into the sky, and it collects condensation, and it made it rain. This was something that they tried. This was a tactic they tried on the Vietnamese because they were using tunnels and underground holes to hide in when we went over there to bomb them. So it was like they were trying to flood them out with tons and tons of heavy rain, and that's what they did. This is fact. This is history. So it isn't that these things are coming true. They've had this technology since the 1960s. Okay, so to think that they're not using it for other things, you know, every now and then you'll see an article pop up where they're talking about farmers that are using this technology to make crops grow, and nobody says to themselves, oh, wow, they can do that. So I guess what I've been hearing all the time was true. No, they don't put anything together. There's no thought process there. There's either or. So, yeah. What was that? No. Yep. Zero viewers on Facebook. I do not think it connected, so it doesn't matter. We'll keep going. Shit. So and then also, this is pretty crazy. I thought this was crazy. I was watching TV with my wife, and I heard this rumble outside. I also heard the boom from the bridge that exploded, by the way, in Baltimore. In the middle of the night, I was actually up. I was taking a leak, and it, boom, here's the thing that they don't tell you. One big boom. Not a crash and a crumble and a rumble. One big boom. That's all I heard. I should have tweeted. I was thinking about, because I only use Twitter as like a timestamp thing for notes. I'll tweet something out and just kind of save it, even if no one sees it. Sometimes I set it as private. But yeah, so this was a meteor that hit in Massachusetts. Okay, a meteor hit, shook the entire East Coast. I heard it, and my wife looked it up later, and she was like, hey, you remember that rumble that you heard, that big boom? I'm like, yeah. Like I said, it was a meteor in Massachusetts. I said, holy shit, that's a long way away to be able to feel that here in Maryland. But yeah, there was immediately right after that, people were like, well, was it really a meteor? Because we're having all these conflicts with other countries who are threatening us and saying, hey, we're going to fire warning shots over there. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. Well, who's to say that it wasn't a missile? It wasn't a warning shot into the United States and not a meteor. Think about this. What would they do from a managerial position if that were true? They wouldn't admit it. They wouldn't admit something to cause panic, especially if it didn't hit any targets. They would just say, oh, it was a meteor. Everything's all good. Don't worry about it. It's exactly what they would do. Here are pictures of that. So that happened May 30th, 2026. Reports of an explosion heard around Boston, I believe, are going to be a rather significant bolide meteor entering the atmosphere. Very large flash detected by blah, blah, blah. Correlated with active thunderstorms. So, yeah. people are saying that this is a fake image. You know, they added this over here. Could be. Here's Nolan. Bolide meteor created the thunderous sonic boom. You can see it on the GLM satellite. Blobs offshore. Lightning. Yeah, so does this look like a meteor hit? Yeah, I don't know. And here are people talking about it. From East Boston, I thought we was getting bombed. The whole house shook. The dogs were going crazy. Our parakeet was bouncing all around the cage. East Boston. I heard a boom so loud it was audible through noise-canceling headphones. Ground shook simultaneously. Norfolk, Cambridge, Brighton, Somerville, Medford. Yeah. So, it was definitely. It happened. And what's really weird is that, like, right after that story, the next day, it disappeared. Which makes it even more suspicious that it disappeared. Because if a meteor hit, there's a ton of questions that people have, but they answered none of them. They reported it one day, and the next day, everybody was done talking about it. No questions were answered. No follow-up reports, nothing. So that makes it even more suspicious that something really did happen, and it wasn't just a meteor. Yeah. Maybe I'll go into this one because that sort of ties in with mainstream media. Maybe people are just ignoring everything in the mainstream media, everything on social media. Somebody sent me a meme just a couple of minutes ago when the song was playing, that people in general, they are just tired of the circus. They have unplugged from all social media because it is devoid of substance, anything real, anything useful. It's just an annoying circus. So people are just ignoring all mainstream media, all social media, and they are returning back to real life, traveling, taking walks, spending time with family, having actual conversations with other humans in the same room. It's awesome. When you do that, the result is freedom. I've done that many times. Unplugging is super healthy. It keeps you balanced. It keeps you centered in order to navigate what baseline normal is and what bullshit sounds like. That's how I knew COVID-19 was all just bullshit, right? At the time, I was working with hundreds of different grown adults that went about their daily lives, and so I saw that this was just baseline normal, and then I saw how people were acting all over the country, and I'm like, man, what a bunch of idiots. This is going to get worse. They're going to use this hysteria in some kind of way, and what did they do? They used it to trick everyone into destroying themselves. So the result is freedom when you ignore mainstream media, the signal. And there is no better example of that than hanta virus. Remember that? Oh, hanta. Everybody ignored it, and they said, nah, we're not doing that again, bitch. We're not doing that again. And what happened? It just went away. Now we've got explosive diarrhea, but it went away. And that brings me also, people were constantly messaging me about Erika Kirk. Dan, you're wrong. She wasn't a grieving widow. Here's the thing. I'll be completely honest. I said it before. I'll say it again. Erika Kirk is not important. How do I know that she's not important? Because they kept showing her. They kept telling you that she was. Why? Because if you focus on some fake bullshit, you'll never get to the real story. And I said this from day one, that it doesn't matter. Stop following manufactured loops of confusion and stick to what you know. I said it from day one. I was right. Israel took out Charlie Kirk. That simple. He told them to go fuck themselves, and they took him out. So, what is this Erika bullshit? They want you to focus on that and not what was behind it. And they don't care if it looks corny. They don't care if you say, God, that's so fake. God, it's so cringe. It's this and that. Who's believing this shit? Do you see this shit? No, I don't see this shit. And I don't care because I know what it is. I knew what it was before anybody even started paying attention to it. And I urged others not to pay attention to it. Some things are just that simple. Something happens, and then everybody else tries to throw up a bunch of smoke, and everybody's chasing magic bullets and this detail and that detail. Listen, I know everybody wants to get down to the exactly how it happened, but what good does it know that? You already know who did it and why they did it. That's it. You're never going to find the actual people who did it. By the way, that Tyler Robinson guy, just a patsy. Same thing that they always do with every type of assassination attempt, or even assassinations that succeed. They just pin it on some guy. It's always been that way. Never in the history of assassinations has the actual assassin been caught. Never. Not once, ever. Look back all through every assassination that you could possibly think of, and it was always some guy who took the fall for it because they wanted the witch hunt to end, or they meant for it to end with someone that they pointed the finger at. It's just tying up loose ends. Sometimes the patsy doesn't make a difference one way or the other, but the purpose of it is to wrap it up in a nice bow. It's that simple. What was that? Yep. Yeah, wow, you guys sent it. Oh my God. That's cool. I like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's true, man. It's very hard to get that point across to people. Oh, by the way, did you know? Man, I don't know if I should say this. I don't know if it connected on Facebook or not. But yeah, exactly. That's very true. It's very hard to get people to come over to this realization because everybody likes to pick a team. But they sort of forget that this is the most important team that you can be on. Okay? These teams were created. These are bullshit. These are bullshit. Let me go into, actually, hold on. I wrote something with that. Yeah. Democracy is a mockery. The United States is a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. If you go back through all the history of the founding of the country, people get this wrong. Pop quiz, jackass. Who was the country founded by? Republicans. Wrong. This country was founded by independents. The independents set up a republic. They weren't Republicans because they didn't exist. Democrats didn't exist. They didn't set up a democracy. They set up a constitutional republic. Sort of like the Ten Commandments is a bunch of rules and everything else stems from that. That's what a constitutional republic is. It's not a democracy. And some people will say, oh, what's the difference? What's the difference? So the difference between a democracy and a constitutional republic is, in a democracy, 9 out of 10 thieves can vote to rob you. And guess what? You get robbed. But in a constitutional republic, they say robbery is illegal. oh, 9 out of 10 of you voted to rob this guy? Sorry, we've made it illegal because that protects. It is protection. So democracy is just mob rule. And one of the reasons why they push democracy so hard, as if we were a democracy, is because they can simply lie and say, well, 99% of everyone voted that we should drown ourselves in a toilet bowl. I'm sorry, guys. This is just what everybody wants. They want everyone to stick their own head in a toilet bowl and drown themselves. You know, it's the darndest thing, but we live in a democracy, and that's what we gotta do. So, no. Take your bullshit and your bullshit democracy and your fake consensus and get the fuck out of here. So that's why they push democracy so hard, is because it is malleable and it can be bent to a liar's agenda. They can use it as a weapon and just tell you that you want it, like a rapist. I've said this before, but Democrats hate normal people like a rapist hates a woman knowing self-defense. And that's why they push democracy so hard. They want control. They want to tell you what you want. And then they use manipulation to tell you that this is what everyone wants. Don't you want that too? You don't want to be weird, do you? Yeah. Definitely wouldn't want that. Oh, God. I wouldn't want to think for myself. Maybe I'll go into this one next. Yeah. So, one of the craziest things is that, you know, all of these issues that we're having, you know, it isn't localized to the United States at all. It isn't a United States batch of issues. Worldwide, the same things are happening. Corruption, invasion, and fraud. Worldwide, simultaneously, and coordinated. Only in Western countries. Tyler Robinson is a fruit recruit, a throwaway pawn. Fruit recruit. Yeah, I like that. All right. There's a big stink over Cash Patel, but not a peep about traitor Bongino. Dan Bongino. Yeah, oh yeah, so Dan Bongino, you know, he says he quit and all that. That's not true. He was forced out. They caught him doing some really shady stuff, and they gave him a choice. You either leave and you can make up whatever story afterwards, or your life's over. So he left, signed some NDAs, I'm sure, and now he's butthurt trying to save his reputation because everybody thinks he's a pussy and a coward. He'll probably never recover from it, because what he tried to do was compromise the operations, and then basically he was like trying to act, you know, he thinks he's a tough guy, basically trying to act like he was spearheading some kind of movement, when the reality was he was trying to put a lid on it because he's been compromised many times over. He showed up in places he was never invited. All of a sudden, he was on the radio. Nobody asked him. Nobody cared. Nobody was like, who the fuck is this guy? Who demanded this guy to be on the radio and started taking people's slots? Nobody. All of a sudden, he appeared at Rumble, the alternative video platform, which is a pile of shit now. He destroyed it from the inside. He's a saboteur. He took the platform down because it was it was pointing out too many inconsistencies in the lies of the mainstream media. So he put a lid on it. And no one asked him to be there. He just inserted himself. All of a sudden, you go to Rumble. What's the first show? Magically, the first show is Dan Bongino. Who the fuck? The guy's... Everybody thinks he's a cringe boomer, but he's Gen X. He's just that slow and stupid. It's insane. So anyway, yeah, leaves Rumble and then goes to the FBI. Nobody asked him to be there. He inserted himself. And he tried the same exact shit everywhere he goes. So yeah, they forced him out. What was that? So you get what you vote for? The quote, you get what you vote for is bullshit? Yes, exactly. Absolutely. So when people say you get what you vote for, in my head, I think these people know that no one voted for the bullshit. No one votes for bullshit, okay? You get what you pay for. It's just something that stupid little smarmy pricks like to say because they know exactly that no one voted for whatever the bullshit is. The horrible and shitty things that happen all over the world, no one votes it in. A lot of times they don't even get tricked to vote it in. It just happens, and then they say, this is what you wanted. Like I said, the point I made earlier. In the name of democracy, they just pretend this is what everybody wanted. And it's their own interests, their own plans and agendas happening. And they say, well, this is what you wanted. Just like a rapist. This is what you wanted, baby. There's a huge parallel between rapists and the way people push democracy and the way that the Epstein class handles themselves. Isn't that weird? These same people show the same behaviors in both their political careers and in their personal lives behind closed doors with dark secrets. Isn't that something? Yeah, isn't that something? What was that? Hold on, I did some reorganizations with the windows. Hold on. If you're white and call a black person the N-word after they rob you, you could face a jail sentence. If you're black and kill a white person for simply being a white person, you're just incompetent. Oh, yeah, this guy, yeah, they threw the case out because he said he was incompetent after slashing this girl's neck. Yep. Yeah, this girl's from Minnesota. I know this playground. I used to be friends with a guy named Mason, really cool dude, and we were there, like, throwing shit at each other. Rochester, Minnesota. Yeah, I think that was the time when I stole a fire extinguisher and sprayed him in the face, and he was, like, choking on it. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yep. You know what? Keep sending me memes. I would rather somebody send me a meme and just, like, because a lot of the, most people, the channels that we are communicating in and flowing in, most people, they don't even get close to touching it because they're so obsessed with, like, using apps. They forgot that websites are where it's at. Websites are free flow of information where a lot of it isn't controlled. It can't be controlled. Gab, texting things to each other in group chats where it doesn't involve the middleman of social media or apps. So yeah, this is a way that'd be cool if you just keep sending me memes instead of, like, texting me things that, like, fly past. Just send memes. Let me put the number up. Yeah, just send a meme and yeah, I'll just open it. Don't send anything too crazy. Hey, what up, Jen? What up? Oh, wait, it connected. It connected. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Now I'm like, I hope I didn't say anything or show anything crazy. It did connect. I just got a comment on Facebook. Wow. Uh-oh. Wow. This is like the fifth. What is this? Like the fifth time? That's crazy. What's this? Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Ha! You know what? I never made that connection before. That's very good. I forgot all about that. But didn't they change this castle now? This is like a different design or something, or it's like 3D or something like. But yeah, that's very good. Nice. Yeah, keep sending me, just send whatever. Like, whatever you think is like a good... Oh, I can't stand up. I'm not even going to say. But, what's this? Oh, you sent me a video? Can I play this? Don't send me anything that's going to, like... Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook have been pretty cool with, like, allowing content to flow, dealing with the subject matter of being like, you know, the topics are sort of uncensored and uncontrolled. But I'm sure that if it crosses into like violence, graphic violence, or like nudity, they will have to take action. So don't send me anything like that. It's not okay. What is this?
Oh, hey, what's up?
Welcome aboard.
Thank you for saving my seat. What? Oh.
Come on. Send me I see you on the good old Facebook. Oh, you've been showing live for a while. It says 0 viewers while you're commenting. And I just got another message. This is crazy. Can I'd have to take a screenshot and then, because I can't show I can't connect the app window because I got like a million tabs. I keep calling them windows. It's a bunch of tabs. And one of them's the chat, one of them's the Facebook dashboard. Yeah. Current comments 0. Current viewers 0. While I have 3 people texting me right now on Facebook. It's whatever. Weird. Yeah. Nothing would surprise me. Nothing would surprise me about the crazy, like... Because here's what I've been thinking lately. Somebody just said something about... Where was that? That's a very good... Where was that? Popeye, luxury skin. Yeah, I'll get to this one. That's really cool. Also has to do with China, with their posturing and their arrogance. What was that? Somebody made a comment. Where'd it go? Censorship is gone. I don't see censorship anywhere. Here's the thing. The censorship is not gone. I said this in 2024 that this would happen. What they've done is replaced... What they've done is replaced censorship like I said they would 2 years ago, 3 years ago, with signal reduction. Okay? So what they've done is they've opened the floodgates on all kinds of topics. Now, to everybody else, it looks like that the censorship has been removed because now you're seeing topics you never saw before, and people are talking about things that they never saw before. But if you remember, what I explained about signal reduction is that they need the subject to be there. So what they do is they allow, let's say, baconators. For some reason, you can't talk about baconators, right? And they just, every time that something popped up that said the word baconator, it just didn't appear as a comment. Well, that's censorship. But signal reduction allows everybody to start talking about baconators. And instead of people saying baconator and it not showing up, baconator shows up. And it's the wrong information that is allowed. The correct information gets buried. If it's incorrect information, it gets pushed up. That's signal reduction. It's the same thing that libtards tried to do with gender. A male has an Adam's apple and higher testosterone. Well, they say, okay, that's a signal that we're going to reduce. Okay, so now they don't know what a female looks like. They don't know what a male looks like. They don't know the signals that signifies what that thing is. So whether it's a baconator or a forbidden topic, the censorship isn't gone. It's being signal reduced. So you're seeing the subjects, but you're seeing the wrong information about the subjects. And the point of it is, I've explained this before, is to not have you curious about the subject and go, oh, we're not allowed to talk about that. They say, oh, wait, we can talk about that. Great. But it's used to steer you in the wrong direction. So now you think you can talk about it, and now you think you're getting all this flood of information and knowledge, and you're building up this big reservoir of, like, how to handle this thing. But you're not. You're not. They're steering you in the wrong direction. You just think that you're finding the information that you sought out, but you're not. It's signal reduction. And I said it was going to fully replace the censorship systems that they have worldwide, and it has. And people have fallen for it. And matter of fact, part of the reason why people are just abandoning social media and mainstream media altogether is because they know it now. They don't know that it's signal reduction, but they know that they're being lied to and manipulated. So they've just abandoned it altogether instead of trying to figure it out. Because every time they go to look into something and try to figure out what it is and you know, unravel the bullshit, they only find more bullshit. And that is by design. That is signal reduction. So the censorship is not gone. Go back to my... Well, you can't go back to my old streams because they fucking deleted them off of Rumble. Yeah. Anyway, I'll find a different place to upload the backups where I go into depth and with examples and information about signal reduction, and you can... I hope that I explained it correctly. I've talked about it so many times. I feel like that when I explain it the same time over and over, maybe it's just getting lost in translation. Yeah, I don't know. But I've talked about signal reduction in great length. What was that? Hold on. Yeah, keep sending. Rockefeller funds medical schools, natural remedy labeled quackery. Pharmaceuticals become standard. Sickest generation in history. Very good. Yes. Wow. That is a great example of signal reduction. The Rockefellers got in there and basically said, hey, you know how you've been healing yourselves? That's all shit. You need this instead. Yep, exactly. Exactly. You need our stuff. What are you doing healing yourself? Yeah, nailed it. Women and men before, women and men now. Yeah, there you go. Signal reduction. That's exactly what I was talking about. Yep. So this would signal when you see this that it's a woman. This would signal when you see this that it's a man. Now what do you see? It's the opposite. You don't know. You might see this. You might see that. But now it's interchangeable. It's swapping out and reducing the signal to screw up your receptiveness. So you can't identify it. And it's the same thing that they've done with censorship. Exactly. Man, you guys. I can't look at all of these, but some of them I see. So what I'm doing is I see them popping up, but some of them are small and they look kind of risky, so I don't click it. I'm only going to click and open the ones that I think are safe for Facebook because it did connect. It connected this time. What's this, video? All right, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it, but don't try to... I'm trusting you.
Would you ever marry someone that has different political beliefs than you?
I would never marry a guy that's liberal.
Why not?
Because he's going to raise my son to be a
I just died on your arms tonight.
Jesus. She's not wrong, but... Okay. The videos that you're sending make me more nervous because I can only see like a little thumbnail, and sometimes like this one right here, I don't even know what this is. Like it's a cloud.
Fuck you.
Okay. Okay. Top U.S. experts trying to figure out why ass blast disease and never-before-seen rare parasites are exploding in America after importing millions of Indians. Yes. Hey, that's a good segue into this, right? Ah, is that why you did that? Very slick. Very slick. Okay. So, you know what's really crazy? That libturds, one of the things that they like to repeat over and over is that, oh, you're white, you're a colonizer, you did this and you did that. Okay. Did we come and destroy and tear cities down when we came here? No, there was nothing here. There were no cities. We built things when we came here. Was it all hunky-dory, rainbows, and dog farts? Probably not. But what's that saying? Rainbows and baby farts? Did I say dog farts? Anyway, was it all rainbows and sunshine? Probably not. You know, whatever you hear, history, back and forth, probably not. But the difference is, look at the context of what they call white people colonizers. Okay. What is the millions of Haitians, South Americans, and Indians? What is that? It's worse than colonization. I mean, it really is colonization. If they were here to like to sort of like be a part of it, but it's worse than that. It's invasion. They're not coming here to like be a part of the party. They're not joining the party. They're shitting all over your house and pissing in your eyes. Okay? They're there for free drinks. They're there to have their ass wiped and to shit all over your house and leave. They're the number one demographic of welfare recipients are non-Americans, foreign immigration. So our people aren't even being taken care of. It's not colonization. It's worse than that. It's violent invasion. It's looting. It's a vacation while pissing in your face. So, what was the other part of that? Yeah. Who and why? So there was a one, somebody asked me, who's doing this? Why are they doing it? It sounds too simple to be to be true, but it is to destroy Western nations. It's that simple. Why would they want to destroy Western nations when they rule over them? Because the population that's there isn't easily controllable. Why? Because we have a lifetime of things that we've worked for, things that we've earned, lives that we've built, families that we love. We have a big stake in where we are and the things that we've done with our lives. So they have to get rid of all that. If they want complete control, they have to get rid of all of that. And what better way to get rid of it than to import hundreds of millions of people who give a fuck about none of that? They've got no stake in it. They've got nothing that they've built here. They treat it like a vacation, and they're rude as fuck to everybody that's hosting. Do you understand? So the destruction is just the method of gaining control, because they're using these people as weapons to sweep up everybody and then take control. They think that if they create enough chaos and destruction, that at any time they'll come in and they'll say, hey, you're from a shithole country. You got rivers of trash. You got diarrhea every day. You die from lack of AC. Here's a box to live in. What's that? You're happy? Oh, that's what I like to hear. You want some bugs to eat? Oh, yeah, that's my little buddy. So they're replacing you with people, killing you also. 250,000 rapes across Britain over the summer, I think is what they said. They're replacing you because they know that the people they're replacing you with will be happy to eat dirt. They're just happy to be there. They're living free. Your taxes are taking care of everything. They go to the grocery store and stack their carts up to the top with your tax dollars. They are the ideal subject to gain control over, because they'll accept anything. They're from shitholes, and they'll accept anything that's slightly better conditions. That's why. Who is doing this? Those are the people that shall not be named, who have been trying the same tactic for 3,000 years. They are trying to cleanse land that they believe they were entitled to. And where do they sweep these people when they try to take that land? Into other countries. It's two birds with one stone. They clear the land so that they can reclaim the land, or claim the land, whatever the fuck they think they're the chosen ones. What a narcissistic religion. And so at the same time, they're using the people that they've displaced to attack the other countries that are next on the chopping block. Once you see things from this zoomed out view, it all becomes so unbearably simple that when you hear people talking about this geopolitics and hey, I've got a fucking corncob pipe and I'm on CNN and Fox and I've got all this insight, it's much, much more simple than any of these fucking farts would leave you to believe. And that is a great segue into this next one. Hold on, let me check. I just saw a bunch of stuff shooting by. What's this? Ooh, really? I don't want to show that. I see the thumbnail. Newsmax is garbage, bro. I'll play it. Let me see.
It should shake every single American in their shoes. I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016. We must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history. James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Biden was in the meeting in July 28th in the Oval Office. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse for 5 years. It undermined a sitting duly elected president. It sabotaged administration. It framed a three-star general. It destroyed and ripped this country apart. We had a constitutional crisis, the likes of which I don't think any American can fully comprehend. It is atrocious, and every single one of them must be held accountable.
Yeah, and of course.
Okay. Try not to send them that long. I mean, that's crazy. Newsmax is goy slop. Sorry. Whenever you see a channel that's like, give to God's chosen people, turn that shit off. They're captured. Dan, who do you most dislike in the political sphere? Easy. Dan Bongino and Tim Pool. Bitches. Total bitches. They're worse than total bitches, do-nothings. They're actively trying to, like, take things that are happening and, like, soften them. You know what I mean? Like, bro, we don't need any softening. Okay? When you point out who's responsible for what's happening, it isn't up to you to say, you know what, but not all of them. Not all of them. Not all of these. Not all of those. Who gives a shit? When you point at a group, it no longer is your responsibility to point out and pick out the good ones and the bad. No. If they want to remain safe and they don't want the finger pointed at them, then they need to separate themselves. If everybody was walking around with, let's say, pink and purple hats, right? And pink and purple hats were stabbing everybody every time you saw them. And then you walk down the streets and you're like, watch out, there's a purple pink hat, they might stab you. And then they go, oh, no, wait. I'm not one of those purple pink hats. It doesn't matter. You beat the fuck out of them. You know why? Because if they gave a shit, and if they weren't a part of it, they'd take that fucking hat off. It's that simple. Stop trying to cherry pick who's the good guys in the group and who's the bad guys in the group, and just name the group. Let them sort themselves out. Let them get their shit together. It's not your job. Stop letting them jerk you around. It's raining like shit. What's this? You can tell a lot about a person by how they react when someone dies. Yep. Uh-oh. The power is flickering. They're not building data centers for AI. They're building the infrastructure required to establish and maintain a 24/7 digital prison surveillance state. That is correct. Oh, my God. My dog's barking. It's driving me nuts. So what was the next thing? Okay, that sort of goes into this. Hold on. Let me take a break real quick. I'll play a song and I'll be right back. Actually, I'm going to play a nice one. All right, I'll be right back. Nothing's wrong. The lights are blinking in the ER in Beltsville, and Glen Burnie has a flash flood warning. Uh-oh! So what was I going into? I'll get to this one last because I think it's a doozy. Actually, let me highlight this and I'll play a video while my dog is barking. Because it has to do with this. The final level is realizing that God is real and religion is not. You might think that I'm going to be offensive with this, but I think you're going to be surprised. Just stay tuned and check this video out.
Jesus was hungry, and seeing a fig tree afar off having leaves, he came to it, if haply he might find anything thereon. But when he came to the tree, he found nothing but leaves, for the time of figs was not yet. And Jesus answered and saith unto the tree, No man shall eat fruit of thee hereafter and forever. And the disciples heard it. And in the morning when they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots and dead. And Peter, calling to remembrance, saith unto him, Master, behold, the fig tree which thou dost cursest has withered away and died. And Jesus answered and saith unto them, Have faith in God. What the fuck kind of a Jesus story is that? Hey, Jesus, you killed a tree. That's right, motherfucker.
So, if you are offended by that one stream I did months and months ago where I said, God is real, religions are not, what you should do is check yourself to see what it is that you're actually worshiping. You can worship stories and man, or you can worship creation itself, which is God. So there was a text I sent out and it got shared all over the place. They were like, they were offended, and what I wound up saying, I said, listen, think about this. What does every single religion ever have in common? Every religion has this one thing in common, and that is that a man comes forward and he says, God has asked you to worship me instead. He has given this message to me because I'm special and I need to fuck your wife. So what you got is a bunch of dumbasses going, yup, listen to him. Oh, you need to fuck my wife? Hey, virgin birth. Wait, you didn't fuck my wife and she just gave birth? Oh, a miracle. It's not a miracle. You just got played for a sucker. So the point is, evil, the very first thing that evil does is find a vulnerability in you, and they exploit that vulnerability. Why? Because it's a diversion from worshiping God and creation and life, and then worshiping a book, worshiping a belief, worshiping a messenger. I'm sorry if this offends you, and I'm glad that if a religious text helps you, but it comes from man. You have to understand that. You cannot worship other men because other men can be led astray. Creation cannot be led astray. Creation and God just is. So if me saying that the final level is realizing that God is real and religion is not, If that offends you, then you need to understand that what you're worshiping is a belief system. Words, stories, people. And that is how we've all been led astray. That's where all war comes from. There are 3 main religions, and guess what? They're all at war with each other. Do you think that's a coincidence? It's not. It is not. Dan, does the phrase Christ is King bother you? No, it doesn't. I don't care. Your belief, like I said, if it helps you and if that makes you feel good, then I'm glad for you. I am happy for you. But there was this guy who said to me, he said something along the lines of like, Dan, how can you not believe in the Bible? It's perfect. There are no mistakes. And I said to him, no mistakes? What do you mean? Like a woman giving birth without having sex? They went into a rage. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. What you are worshiping isn't God or creation or life. It's a story. And that is the wrong path. It's just a bunch of douchebags walking around telling you that God told you to let him fuck your wife. So yeah. Let me lighten the mood towards the end here with luxury as a scam targeting simpletons with money. And here are 2 video examples. I remember in school when I would wear out all these shoes skateboarding, and I got tired of buying shoes that cost a lot of money only to wear them out skateboarding, right? So I went into Payless and I bought cheap ass shoes for like, what was it, like $10, something like that. And they were called East Sides, as a matter of fact, because I loved them. They were so comfortable. This was before Skechers and all that. And so what I wound up finding out is that these shoes, I was expecting to just wear them out and just they were cheap and I wouldn't care. I'd just keep skating, wear them out, put a hole in them, and I would just go get another one because they were so cheap. What I wound up finding out is that they wore out at a slower rate than the expensive shoes. It's like, well, what the fuck is going on here? Is this the same material? Is it made the same way? It's got to be. This is bullshit, right? So it formed my belief back in the day that when you get a t-shirt, it's the same t-shirt as everybody else has. It's just a different logo on it, and they charge more for someone who's stupid, and they pay $100 for a t-shirt. And they also sell it at a regular price, because why wouldn't you capture both markets? Both ends of the spectrum nets you a sale. In marketing terms, later on I found out that this was called a shotgun tactic. You hit both markets. Then you could even hit a third market and you get a $10 t-shirt and sell it to some retard for $10,000 and tell them that it's worth $10,000. It's so luxurious. And if they pay it, then you've just made another sale and profited a lot more from their ignorance. And it's that simple. It's a shotgun tactic. It's what it's called. And here is the proof.
Chinese factories are exposing luxury brands.
Made in Italy or made in France. Welcome to the real world. Now you see, those bags are made in China.
China makes 80% of your designer bags.
Who's the Chinese supplier behind Under Armour? Shenzhou International. Nike shoes from China to your country?
Who are the suppliers behind Salomon, Timberland, New Balance, Adidas, Nike, la 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 la. First, Baocheng Factory.
It's not just calling them out. They're showing the world exactly where your $1,000 handbag or your $100 leggings are really being made. They're now offering you the same exact stuff, no middleman, no markup. In a bold move that seems more like economic warfare than manufacturing, Chinese workers are lifting the lid on $1 billion illusion. The bags, the shoes, the clothing that say made in Italy or designed in Paris, a huge chunk of them are actually being produced in China. And with Trump's new tariffs hammering Chinese exports, the factories are fighting back by selling directly to you online and calling out the whole hypocrisy. And on TikTok, it's gone viral. Factory workers and agents are filming inside production lines, showing piles of Louis Vuitton bags, Gucci purses, Lululemon leggings. Some say we make the same thing the brands sell, but for $20, not $2,000. Videos show labeled items sold from the same factory floor at 1/10 of the price.
Lululemon sells this jacket for nearly $100, but here it only costs you $6 to $5.
The exact same item, just no label. And these videos, they're getting millions of views. And these aren't fakes. The bags and shoes being sold are real, or at least made in the exact same places with the exact same materials. Because luxury brands like Prada, Armani, and even Louis Vuitton outsource a ton of their manufacturing to China, and now we're learning this for real. They ship the parts to Italy, do the same little thing with the stitching, maybe slap on the label, and boom, made in Italy. It's legal, but it isn't honest. If you're just throwing a label on something and saying made in Italy, but the whole thing was actually made somewhere else, you're lying. One investigation recently found that Chinese-run factories were paying workers $2 an hour to assemble $1,800 Armani handbags. And they still got the made in Italy stamp. It's all smoke and mirrors. These TikTok exposés are cracking the illusion wide open. If your $2,000 purse is made by the same hands as a $50 duplicate, why pay 40 times more? It's not just China breaking the rules, it's the brands gaming the system. And now, the workers who have been hidden behind the curtain, they're stepping into the spotlight and showing the world the truth. And frankly, I'm all for it. Expose these luxury brands that have been ripping us off for too long. The world's factory is speaking, and the message is clear. You've been paying for a label, not the labor. And in this new global economy, the label might not be worth that much anymore.
The kicker is that it was never worth that much. Ever. It's the same thing with iPhones and Galaxies. There's 1,000% markup. It costs about $80 to manufacture, and it's like 1,000% markup. The term, I said this fucking 20 years ago, the term "you get what you pay for" has never been true. You never get what you pay for. You pay for what you get. Meaning, if they can sell you something, if they could sell you a dog turd for $500,000, they'd be jumping with joy. And they would continue to do it if people bought it. That's all it is. You're buying shit. It's always been shit. It's just now you're able to learn about it. Now it's so in your face, you can't ignore it. Here's a prank from the 90s from Payless Shoes.
Experiment making headlines by the chain Payless Shoes. They held a grand opening of a luxury store with a different name but the same shoes, and charged hundreds more for those same shoes. Customers paid. Here's ABC's Kana Whitworth.
Behold, Palessi. We built a fake luxury store in Los Angeles and filled it with Payless shoes. The guests at our grand opening party had no idea.
Guests invited to check out what looked like a luxury shoe shop.
They're elegant, sophisticated. I just think it's so classy.
And I could tell it was made with high quality material.
A $35 shoe going for $645, an 1,800% markup. Store owners sat on their heels as fashion influencers emptied their wallets.
I would pay $400, $500. Yeah, people are going to be like, where'd you get those? Those are amazing.
Then they're let in on the prank.
These are actually from Payless. You've got to be kidding me.
Shut up. Are you serious?
But those shoppers were refunded their money and they got to keep the shoes.
David Payless calling it a provocative social experiment designed to challenge today's image-conscious culture. Either way, it was an effective PR stunt.
Yeah.
David?
Clearly a marketing ploy, but they paid. Kana, thank you.
So someone just texted me and they were like, well, what did they say? If that's true, how is it possible that the name brand stuff lasts longer? It doesn't. Not because of the material, anyway. It lasts longer. It seems like it lasts longer because you think it's more valuable. If you bought a $500 pair of sunglasses, no pair of sunglasses costs $500, but if you bought a $500 pair of sunglasses and then you bought a $1 pair of sunglasses, which one are you going to treat with more care? Which one are you more likely to take care of? You've been tricked. It's okay to admit that you've been tricked and to be wrong. But to do mental gymnastics and pretend that, things are different now. It's never used to. It's always been this way. It's just now the lies are unable to be maintained. There's too much flow of information and too much available examples to ignore it. It can't be ignored anymore, and that's all it is to it. It's very simple. People have been suckers for a long time, and it's not new. Yeah. Also, I want to play this. This is about the colonization. Oh, let me play this real quick, actually. Man, I'm getting mixed up with the Windows again. Let me play one more video dealing with this. Education is not intelligence. Here's a great example of somebody projecting her arrogance and being dead wrong.
I'm 21, I'm a high school graduate, and I work in the Marine Corps.
I'm 30 years old. I have my PhD in cancer biology, and I work in a biotech industry. Grad school, I went to University of South Carolina, and undergrad, I went to University of Florida. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, me, I don't know. PhD, cancer biology scientist. I work in a biotech company. We make COVID-19 testing kits, stuff like that. Then 6. It has nothing to do with your background. I don't think you really have the highest EQ out of all of us. Tyler, he ranked last for me personally because the way he carries himself. He was ranking intelligence based on his point of view and not taking in other people's point of views.
So number 1 is Raymond. Number 2 would be Kaylee. Number 3 will be Tyler, and number 4 would be Shada. Number 5 is Sean, and number 6 is Maria.
Yeah. So she wound up ranking dead last, and she thought that she was the smartest person in the room. And she even said that she feels that he's judging others with his own perception.
I work in a biotech lab. We make COVID test kits.
Do you think that somebody working at McDonald's assembling burgers thinks of themselves as a chef? No. They know they're just flipping burgers. You work in the pharmaceutical industry? Great. You're the fast food burger flipper of the medical industry. You don't know what's in the burger. You don't know what's in the bread. You don't know how it was made. It's the same thing with the pharmaceutical industry. You don't know shit. You're just a fast food pharma burger flipper. That's the harsh truth. Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen this a lot. For surviving the greatest psychological fear campaign in human history. That's right. That's right. All right. I'm going to jump off here. I don't want the storm to knock out the power. Hold on. Let me answer that one last question. Let me see. Crap. Saw it fly by there. Dan, do you know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is? Yes, I do, of course. Dunning-Kruger effect is the perception that because you know something about a subject that you must know everything, or it's the perception that there is nothing else to know. So your ability to convey the information is kind of hindered because you think you know everything about that subject, and you believe that you're much smarter than what you actually are because of the information that you do know. So basically, it's stupid people believing that they're geniuses. Yeah. That's, maybe she suffers from the Dunning-Kruger effect. Yes. Yes. All right. I'm going to get off here. I'm amazed that it connected on Facebook this time. I hope that nothing here okay. Yep. All right, guys. Jumping off here. Man, tons and tons of. Let me go through some more texts. This is crazy. Yeah, yep. Yeah, I've seen this one before too. Older I get, the less life in prison is a deterrent. That's right. Something to think about. Something to think about. What's the biggest influence on climate change? Probably cow farts. It's got to be it. No other bigger thing than cow farts. Yeah. All right, guys. Hopping off here. See ya.